Welcome to MMA Fancast. My name is Luke Pace, and welcome back to everyone who's already a subscriber to the YouTube channel. If you're not already a subscriber to the MMA Fancast YouTube channel, please subscribe so you can see more great interviews, including the one coming at you right now, a 4-1 top-ranked amateur lightweight, 155 lightweight MMA fighter who just had an incredible round one rear naked choke stoppage win at Brawl in the Burgh 26 for 247 Fighting Championships last Saturday, 6 days ago. Very excited to have on the show J.R. Kazalas. J.R., welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
It is great to have you on the show. I got to sit cage side. I've been cage side for all of your 247 fights. As a 4-1 record, you're obviously a very high-ranked top fighter. And so before we get to the fight itself, which I can't wait, it's going to be great. What's it like training at Southside Boxing? I saw the head coach for Southside Boxing in your corner, as well as James Las Vegas Lito, who I've had on the show a bunch. And I know he obviously is very well known in the Pittsburgh area. So what's it like training at Southside Boxing, and how has that been for your development?
It's been amazing. I love being there. Everyone's super close with each other. It's a lot of, you know, anything you need, Matt's always there. He's, amazing. Like I could go on for a while about, how great of a coach he is, and having, James Lito there. He's an animal. So it's always good to have him in the room too.
Yeah, it was great to see him again. He talked to me afterwards, and he's currently a Lock Haven wrestler and is looking to get back in the cage in the summer. I don't think that's like confidential news. Nothing's announced, nothing official, but that's just
No, he's
looking. Yeah, that's what he's looking to
he's
do.
definitely down to.
Oh yeah, and I can't wait to see that. All right, so now let's talk. And it's really great to have seen you back in action on Saturday night. Let's talk about the matchup. Was great. You were 3-1 coming into the fight against the 2-1 guys, so both winning records. That whole development type thing. It was an advanced amateur fight. Now it didn't play out much because you finished it in round one. But as far as going 9 minutes, cardio, things like that, how do you think you match up if the fight were to go to 9 minutes, and obviously in the future 15, if and when you go pro? Where do you think your cardio is and your training is? Obviously you trained for an advanced amateur fight, even though it was over very quickly. What do you think about that?
I think my cardio has always been good. I mean, this fight was my first finish, so every other fight that I've had has gone, the distance, and I felt fine. I wasn't fatigued or anything. I mean, I was a little tired, obviously, but not to the point where it was detrimental. Like I felt like I fought for 9 minutes. It wasn't anything I hadn't done in the practice room, and there I've gone, you know, way longer than just 9 minutes.
Sure. Well, of course, that's
And having fresh guys rotated on me, bigger guys go with me, so that's definitely not wasn't an issue.
yeah. In MMA gyms or wrestling gyms, that's typically called Shark Tank, where one
Mhm.
wrestler fighter stays on and fresh people, bigger, smaller, some whatever, rotate in just to really push the pace and give different looks. I've even done Shark Tanks where you make the person getting the work have to use only certain weapons too, depending on what you're trying to focus on. So it can be very exciting and training. Um, Talk about how the finish came. What can you remember of it? Rear naked choke is clearly one of the most, not only basic, but I don't say basic as an insult, fundamental for people that, oh,
Right.
basic chokes. Listen, a rear naked choke, if it's in right, it doesn't matter who you are. And I'm a big GSP fan, doesn't make a difference. If you've got the rear naked choke in fully locked on anybody, even the best in the world, it's going to be there. So how did the setup come against Will Saturday night, and then walk us through that finish?
So I was in side guard, and I was really comfortable there. Like when I was sparring, I was getting my Darce choke a lot out of that position. And so I was working towards that. I was trying to get the overhook with my right hand and then try and stuff his head. But he bridged and turned over to his belly. And then I ended up with like a claw ride from wrestling, and then just followed him through. And then once I slipped my right hand in, um, it was deep enough to where I know I could finish it. And then I locked it up, but he still had my left hand, so I just squeezed a little. Then it wasn't enough to make him tap, but it got him panicking a little, and then uh, peeled off his hand off my left one. Then I locked it up, under my arm, and instead of the gable grip, and then once I got there, just crunched down and then waited for the tap.
Yeah, I prefer obviously there's lots of different ways. I prefer the gable grip. I think clearly it's harder to defend because the official in Portuguese, it means lion killer, the one that you're like the traditional.
Hmm.
Um, there's a couple more defenses. It's still a great choke, but I think the gable grip, particularly because you can use the forearm of your other arm to kind of put forward pressure as well, which is a unique thing in it. So because this was your first MMA finish, I'm sure you've submitted guys in the gym, obviously, and clearly if you've done jiu-jitsu tournaments, but what was it like to be there live and experience getting a finish, getting a submission finish, packed house, everybody's excited. What was that like for your first ever finish in MMA?
It was awesome. I mean, I had a lot of friends and family come out, even some of my coworkers, and that was the first fight my girlfriend came to. So, in the locker room, Matt was like, "Yeah, you can't really lose this one." So, definitely, definitely was a nice little relief once he tapped. But yeah, it was an awesome feeling. And then just got to see everyone after. It was great. And then I felt, yeah, when you were talking about the gable grip, I was going for that, but I felt my right arm was like just so deep. It just made more sense just to hook
Oh,
it with my left arm. Like if I had more, my
yeah,
uh, hand closer to the neck, then yeah, but I was so far in, I was like, I can just cinch this up here and,
sure.
you know,
Sure. That,
get
of
it done.
course. Yeah. Well, it's just great. There's so many different ways
Oh, yeah.
to do that. And obviously, a huge congratulations. Um, I don't know what your exact Tapology ranking is. Clearly, very high in welterweight in Pennsylvania and Northeast regional. It takes a little bit of time for them to adjust to the new, to you getting that win. Um, but how do you think you rank up as far as people at your weight class, particularly in the amateur ranks? And kind of where do you see yourself going? A 4-1 record is kind of at the next level. If people may not know, it was the only female fight, but man, was it incredible, was Carly Joe Thomas, who was 5-3. So that's a great amateur record, taking on a previously undefeated 7-0 amateur monster. And Carly Joe got the win. It was super exciting for the Pittsburgh side of things.
Yeah, I saw the tail end of it after
Oh, man, it was
came out
great.
and everything was awesome. Yeah.
But and hats off to Coach Carly Joe. But I'm bringing it up to say that as a 4-1 record, you're definitely now at the point where you might, be at that level to be able to, fight against some, even higher rank. So where do you think you rank, and kind of what are you looking for in a future fight? Whether it's a title, and the Carly Joe fight was not for a title, but obviously it was incredibly high level. So where do you think you kind of, how do you think you want to challenge yourself going forward? No specifics, of course. You just fought 6 days ago, but as far as development mindset wise.
I mean, I always feel confident in myself, and even Matt too. He tells me every day at practice, he'll put me up against anyone. So that's always, a good thing to hear. And then when you start to believe that, it's like I'm not really concerned with who it is I'm going to fight. It's just, whenever I do, we'll go. Like I'm not concerned, what it's for or anything. I mean, not to discredit it. I mean, it is amateur. Like it's always cool to get a belt, but um, I think it's more important just to get the experience of a high level opponent versus waiting, to see what title is going to open up and when. But yeah, I'm excited for what the future holds. And honestly, I kind of just listen to Matt. He'll text me one day. He's like, "Hey, they want you to fight here," and I'm like, "Okay, cool." And then we'll just go from there and get ready.
Yeah, I mean, you've got an incredible coaching mindset, and the fact that you're coachable, and so do the Lido brothers. I mean, it's just a great. And I'm sure there's other fighters. It's just I'm trying to remember who I know out of Southside. Um, for you, what do you do? You're an amateur. You're clearly incredibly focused and dedicated. What do you do for a day job or money? Like, how are you balancing the life of a very focused amateur fighter who's basically training at the high level, but also having to make money elsewhere? I'm just curious how that balances.
I work at a Top Flight Financial as a mortgage coordinator, and actually, when I first started there, I was like, hey, I started there in December, and then whenever I signed the contract, I told like my boss just let them know and everything, and then they were like, can we come? And I was like, yeah, sure. So they all came out to watch, and it was awesome to see them there. Like, after I saw like my family and everything, I went looking for them, and then they were all hyped up. And then Monday at work, it was pretty cool to see everyone.
Well, that is super cool, and it's a great way to
Yeah.
have both a very professional career, obviously, in that business, and also
Hmm.
right on the side. It also shows. I hope everybody that watches this. I heard that your girlfriend was there, your parents were there, these people from work. So I hope they now know because that was your first and only finish. They're now required to come to your next fight. It's just like
Oh
wearing
yeah.
socks and stuff. You got to have the right group of people there in the audience. So that is that. I mean, that is super exciting. Congratulations for you for having the ability to have that type of business job, and I think that's wonderful. And clearly you'll make those decisions going forward. But I'm always curious how people balance it. So just fantastic. Keep up the incredible work. I can't wait to see what's next. I do think that there's a lot of possibility for you facing top or top talent level at 155. I can't wait to be there to cover it and to have you back on in the future. So I really appreciate you coming on. Can't wait to see you again. For people that
Thank you.
want
Yeah,
to
sorry
buy,
about my voice too. I'm still a little under the weather, but
oh, that's okay.
if I sound a little like if I sound a little robotic,
You sound great. I know that we had to push this back a little bit
thank you.
because you were recovering, and that actually makes sense, particularly after a fight. There's a lot of stress on your immune system with the cut. So a lot of times that does happen after a fight, but
Yeah,
obviously,
everyone was getting sick too. Like
yeah.
so many people I know just got something.
Well,
But yeah, I
that's
really
true.
appreciate you having me on too.
Of course, it's absolutely incredible. I can't wait to see it. I was just going to do a plug. If people want to watch it, they can buy the pay per view through the pay per view review in through 247 Live app and make sure they still give JR Kazalas credit because that still counts towards you. I'm sure if somebody gives you credit when they buy it. But it's a great opportunity to support him. Can't wait to see what you do in the future. This has been Luke Basin from MMA Thank with fresh off of his incredible round one rear naked choke win, JR Kazalas. Thanks so much for coming on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good one.